Rosie, psychic investigator. I'm Rosie, psychic investigator. 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 Hello, everybody, welcome. Rosie, psychic investigator. So happy Labor Day, everybody, and it's a Sunday night. It's gonna be, it's not quite, today, right? It's September 1st. But tomorrow is the holiday, okay? So I just wanted to give you an update. And it's funny because it's like I've come back to YouTube recently. Okay, here I am, laundry place. My building laundry. So long story. So the reason it's like I'll tell you the truth. The reason why I've done that, and I feel like I've been giving these updates. Okay, is that I caught some people going on my channel and they're repeating things a little bit. I feel like I got a little bit paranoid that people were taking some of the content and reinterpreting or whatever. So once I do the videos, I'm not gonna post the whole thing, or maybe I'll post parts, but I'll just talk about the summary. And because I realize that there's so much info about France. So I'm gonna be posting some of it, okay, like the actual readings. But first I want to just talk about Madeleine Westerhout. Okay, so she's a Trump assistant, and that was fired because she talked about Barron and Tiffany, and supposedly that's why Trump fired her. But the reality is different. Is that Jared and Ivanka did not approve of her. No, they didn't. So she was, they were setting her up. So it was I'm not saying that she did say what she said, but in some ways it was sort of a bit of a Freudian slip, in the sense that she probably knew deep down they would get her fired, but it's on purpose. She couldn't stand working there anymore, and she saw some very shady things, and she wants to talk. And she went out of favor once Jared and Ivanka realized she had seen Informer France. I have Informer France, I have it. So she's gonna go to the house. She's already lawyered up. She's gonna go to the house and she is gonna talk. She's gonna talk, and she's gonna talk to the FBI. She's very determined to talk because also she thinks that it's the end of President. The end is very near. She happens to know. Okay, so I better leave now. I'm very happy. So she's actually happy to be leaving because she feels that she has a lot to say. Okay, and do you guys remember how Trump even posted something on Twitter? She has NDA. Who cares, bitch? So I made notes here, guys. Okay, so that's that. Now, so she has hot information. So okay, so then, guys, now another interesting thing is this: did you see how Trump shared information about the satellite, the Iranian satellite? So the question is, why did he do that? And the answer is he did that because he wanted to send a message to Saudi Arabia. It's meant to be shared with Saudi Arabia because now that Trump is getting worse and worse, Jared is having much more influence, right? So he thought that was very good. There was something good to share with MBS, indirectly, or with MBS, because that's sort of a guarantee that we're working on it, because they are both, Trump and Jared, are waiting for money. We wait for money. We do things for care. Yeah. So that's it. Okay. So that's understandable. So that is the big thing, guys, and this is a big deal because it pushes Jared and Trump, of course, further against the intel and the military community, okay? Because they are overtly sharing national security information, okay? So that's it. Now, then, guys, what it shows is that the end is imminent. Because when I started asking about how's the military is going to react to this, it shows that they're already negotiating with Trump to have to see what, whether he's going to leave. But what happens, I think I've talked about it before, is that he's kind of, it's not stonewalling, but he's kind of like bullshitting. He just wants literally a get out of jail free card, but he's not going to get it. Okay. So it gets to a point where that's one of the when I told you guys before that he gets desperate. He's like, no, 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 I'm not gonna unless you give me, free pass, and he's not gonna get it. So he tries to do something crazy, and he has to literally be removed. Okay, but they're trying to do everything they can behind the scenes. Um, and it shows also that you saw the thing about Lawrence. When Lauren, sharing that information with Lawrence was also a way for him to get the message that they have the most important, most sensitive information. I have it. I have it. So, so he's screwed. He's screwed. There he is. Okay. Okay. So here. So that explains why Richard Neal from the House and Means Committee was not moving so quickly to get Trump's tax returns, because they know that the most vital information, the loan signature stuff, is already right. We have it. We have it. Okay. All right. So then the other thing, guys, the question I had a question about Barr booking a private holiday party at a Trump property. That makes perfect sense. But I think they're part of. I think this is Barr is getting some money on the side, and he feels like whatever, we're part of the same money laundering network. We'll get money from whoever. Okay, so interesting, no, interesting. Okay, so then the other interesting thing, guys, is that I believe the latest Texas shooting is also connected to the Trump administration. That they have these like networks that they sort of like activate, and they're trying to like push them, just like people used to push the suicide bombers. They find the weaker people, the most unbalanced people, okay, and try to get them to create these accidents. Not accidents, the shootings, okay, and to make it I don't think they even try to hide it, but it's coordinated. In other words, it's almost just like they used to do with the Al Qaeda or whatever you call it. Just get the people to put bombs or to do whatever they do with these people, okay, and now they're investigating much more seriously, okay. So unfortunately, it is what it is. It is like the mentality is sort of like that. Is it truly like terrorists? Okay, and I think that they talk like terrorists and everything, and they want the population to be angry, I'm sorry, not angry. They want them to be, the people who commit these crimes, to be angry, because they want them to be able to be manipulated into committing these crimes, okay. All right, so now the last part, guys, was fascinating part. The last part of today's reading, Boris came back, and I'm going to post this part again. And he talked about, I looked into the Russian aggression in Georgia, the country, and it has everything to do with the oil and the oil pipeline. It's going to be a little bit difficult for a little bit, but then they're going to be defeated eventually. But what was fascinating is this guy Boris came back, and he talked a lot. There's a lot of really fascinating information about the history of the Russia's interest in oil and the relationship between Russia and the Koch brothers, and why they're all connected, because basically they're part of the quote unquote oil brotherhood, right? And they're all and he talked about how like the power of the oil industry has contributed to pollution, and how and this quote unquote lifting regulations, we call it libertarianism or whatever, but it's essentially the ideology of the oil industry, because they know that if they have to do anything that remotely resembles clean energy or a clean oil extraction, it's very expensive. And for some reason, I also got the information that extracting oil at a slower pace is actually, that's what needs to be done in order for this to be less polluting to the environment, but they can't do that. They don't want to do that. So it was like a really fascinating, a visit from Boris. And I'm thinking as of doing podcasts called Dead Russian Society, because there's so many of them, those people who want to talk to me from other side and have really interesting information. So this is it for today. Summary, latest news. Yeah? Okay. See you later. Alligators. See you later. Alligators. Okay, bye.